And welcome back to the Coach's Corner here at Pizza Inn on East Main Street, sponsored by Pizza Inn and by Larry's Trophies. We have a very special guest with us. We have one of the new coaches of the Broome Centurions. I've known him for a long time. He looks good in this Vegas gold and blue right here. Coach Jason Farmer, welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach Cox. It's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be at Broome. It's been really good. I've enjoyed it.
Now, you are the offensive line coach. We have that in common because when I coached at Dorman, one of the positions I coached while I was there was offensive line too, though. And just talk a little bit about that people don't realize that it takes a special person to be an offensive lineman because that's where the game's won it, and the trenches in there with those guys. I always said playing offensive line was an organized street fight, because that's about what you do in there, though. But just talk about, the mentality, because these guys know that they're going to work their tails off every day and probably bust their head in the chutes and the other things like that, though. But their name's never going to be in the newspaper for making that big block, or unfortunately, they don't put in the paper how many pancakes they had or anything like that, though. But offensive line coach loves what his players do.
Well, I use those words street fight today at practice. Yeah, it's the most important position on the team. I've said this before, and I'll say it several times. High school football or any football boils down to: are you able to run the ball, and can you stop the run? And you got to stop the run on the defensive line. You got to be able to run the ball offensive line wise. But it takes a special kind of kid, an unselfish kid. We're not going to get our name in the paper. And we are going to be in the chutes the first 5 minutes of every practice, and they know that. And trying to teach them a little bit of a mentality of just really, like you just said, it's a street fight. Again, I've been proud of those kids, and really, to be honest with you, Coach, I've been doing this 32 years, and this is the first time I've ever coached the offensive line. I've been involved with the running game heavily, but I always coach the running backs, the quarterbacks, and, always involved with the offensive line. But it's been fun for me. It's been a challenge for me to kind of just be with those guys, primarily just those guys. And I've really enjoyed it,
And those kids, too, that if you look, are usually your smarter kids, that they have to be smart because of all the things that they have to read. I know that they see all kind of different fronts you can run. I remember when we were at Dorman, we used to run the split middle, the 40 defense. Yeah. I remember we'd run the 60-40 combo doing that. Sometimes you'll run a 50 with a nose guard up there, though. But they have got to read that defense, and they've got to know what's going on with what the block is, what the scheme is. When the team shifts, though, they got to be smart to pick all that up.
Certainly, and we try to make some calls to help them out with that. But, it's just repetition. And, they got to be able to make those decisions quickly. And, like I said, I try to, all the different kinds of blocking schemes and emotions we want to put in there, I try to make it as simple as I can for those guys up front.
Talk a little bit about the guys you've got on your offensive line this year. I know you've got one, blessed to have Stephen Odell, that it's been fun watching him grow. He's grown a lot and mature right there, though. But it just was, really last week when we had young man Brady Alexander, who was the offensive player of the week, that he said that an auspicious start to his varsity career. First snap goes over the quarterback's head, but he said immediately Stephen Odell calmed him down, told him everything's going to be okay. It's all right. These things happen and all like that, though. But, you've got an excellent leader in Odell on that offensive line.
Well, everybody knows Stephen as a football player, but if you know Stephen as a human being, you know what a great kid he is. And, I remember when I got here, obviously he played tackle as a junior. I knew what Coach Fleming kind of wanted to do from an offensive standpoint and a running game standpoint, and I felt like we need to put him at guard. And when I asked him, I said, what do you think about playing guard? He said, Coach, I just want to win. And so, you love coaching kids like that. And so Stephen's our leader. And to be honest with you, Friday night, I'm sorry, I'm getting my nights confused. But, Friday night we'll start 4 underclassmen with Stephen. Levi Bishop, who's our right tackle, he's just a sophomore. Beside him will probably be Lance, and you know he's a senior, a right guard, and then our left guard's Amari Shipman. I mean he's a junior, and then Logan Brown, who is playing really well at left tackle. But our most improved guy last week was Levi. Levi's about 6'3", 210 right now, and is just really has a chance to be a really good offensive lineman.
And, you know, you are the running game coordinator. I think you're calling the plays and all right there. And we know that Spartanburg, probably that they're hanging their hat this year on their defense. And when you what things do you look for in putting together your game plan? You know, if you were breaking down Spartanburg and all, what kind of things are you looking for?
Well, first of all, I'm suggesting plays. I'm not running plays.
Okay.
Or calling plays. But, you know, Coach Fleming does a great job with that. But me and Coach Derryberry and Coach Fleming kind of team up and try to see what's working best for us. But, you know, obviously I just kind of look at formations and to see what they're giving us, you know, kind of if they're a pressure defense or if they're going to sit back and, you know, what are they doing on second short, third and short. And honestly, you know, what formation is going to give us the best gaps to run in. But, you know, Coach, I'll be honest with you, you know, you can talk about plays and watching film and everything, but it boils down to the fact that, you know, if you've got some good players, you're going to look like a good coach. So it's not me at all, and it has nothing to do with me. I'm able to land at a place that has a Stephen Odell, that has a Jalen McGill, that has a Kamaje, you know, and Darren, the backup running back we've got. You know, we got some good receivers out there, so you know it's makes it a little easier on yourself, you know, as a coach. But you know, you always want to do that due diligence of watching film and, you know, we're going to line up and do what we do on a Friday night. You know, we're going to run the plays that we run. We're not going to just completely revamp the game plan this week because we're playing Spartanburg, because we're 2-0. We're going to simply just line up and do what we've been doing. I told them yesterday it's not who we play, it's how we play. And we keep playing like we're playing. We're going to put ourselves in positions to win a lot of football games.
And you know, I always liked it too. Basically, what you're doing in a lot of ways are lining up and playing smash mouth football.
Oh, that's the best part.
When you play smash mouth football, the moral of that game is tough guys win.
You know, and I told him last week, Chesney was giving us a lot of pressure, and I told Coach Fleming early, I said, I think we got to get away from our gap scheme stuff and run our inside zone stuff. And people that know me, I'm not an inside zone kind of guy. I'm a gap scheme guy. I was taught by Doc Davis at Spartanburg High School, and we were gap scheme. We were down block, kick out. Those kinds of things. And I was kidding the kids after the game. I felt like one of those college coaches calling some of the zone stuff. But it worked. We did a really good job. J-Mac had a great game, and so did Kamaje. You know, that's the second straight week we've had two guys in that backfield that had over 100 yards rushing apiece. Again, when you're able to run the football, you can be successful.
And unfortunately, that's the sad thing is that when you've got two like that both of them get nominated for Player of the Week and they vote and it splits the votes and all. So it makes it hard for them to get them, though, but that's a good problem to have, though.
But, you know, those two kids right there is as unselfish as anybody on our football team. One of the first conversations I had with Jalen, just like Steven, I just want to win. I want to win. I don't care who's carrying the football. And all the accolades that Jalen has gotten so far as just a 10th grader and the kind of kid he is, man, I can't say enough about that kid and how – unselfish he is about who gets the football. He just wants to win.
And it was good hearing him talk, too, about that, you know, that he would like to someday that if he can make it to the next level or whatever like that, which he's got a great opportunity about, you know, where his mom wouldn't have to work all of his life and taking care of his mom and dad and family members and stuff like that, that he's very, very family-oriented and hopes that one day then maybe he'll have the opportunity to be able to help his family.
That's right. And you know, I know you talked to him up here. His little brother ain't bad.
Really?
Yeah. He's had two good Thursday nights here, and I expect him to do pretty well tomorrow night too. All
right. What have you seen? Can you give us a scout report on Spartanburg's defense? Of
they're athletic. They move to the ball very well. The linebackers flow to the ball. You know, they're big up front. I mean, they are rolling with their defense right now. So their defense hadn't given up a ton of points. And we know those guys over there. We know the system they're going to run. I mean, we've coached against them for years, and It's going to be a pressure-style defense. It's going to be a challenge for us up front. We can't let gap run-throughs and things like that. But, to be honest with you, they've played 2 games now, and they lost to South Point 16-14 and then beat Dutch Fort last week. I think that final score is 17-6. But quite honestly, I think of the last play of the game, Spartanburg scores on defense to make it 17-6. So it's 10-6. For the entire game. So they haven't seen a game where they've gone over 20 yet. And I think they've given up 1 touchdown on defense, maybe 2 in 2 weeks. So it'll be a challenge for us. But, I mean, the message I just left our kids when we left the school after watching film or before we watched film was, the Powdersville game was kind of like that as far as we're playing a tough opponent, and our kids didn't flinch. It didn't matter what happened, and that's the kind of thing that we've been pouring into them since May is, if adversity hits, don't flinch. We're just going to readjust, and it hit a couple times against Powdersville, and adversity will hit on Friday night at Spartanburg High School, and I just hope our kids just play and just enjoy the environment. We're playing a 5A school. We're playing at a great stadium, and we're playing high school football. There's nothing better in the world than high school football. And I'm just happy to see or excited to see our kids play Friday night.
And this is 2 top 10 teams, 1 3A and 1 in 5A right now. And again, I think it's good for the community where the 2 teams are playing each other. You got about a 2-mile bus ride to get over there. And like you said, great facilities, though. But I think it's good for the city of Spartanburg. This game is to brought it back, though.
Absolutely.
All right, changing gears a little bit. You've changed hats this year. How does it feel not to have all the burden and load of having to do everything, being the head coach, but just to coach a little bit and breathe and not have all the headaches that you have being a head coach this year?
Coach, I'll be honest with you, it might be the best move I've ever made. As a young coach, I was, obviously had a goal to be a head coach, wanted to be a coordinator then a head coach. And I was able to lead a program or 2 different programs for 11 years. And it was a great time. I enjoyed my time at Woodmont. I enjoyed my 9 years at Landrum. And I felt like we did a really good job at both places. But, stepping back in our role, in my role now, and being able to assist Coach Fleming and we got Coach Sullivan, who's been a head coach as well. It helps him because we've been there, and we know some things that he's going through and can help him that way. But, quite honestly, as a head coach, you don't get to coach football as much as you do as an assistant coach. Right. And that's the thing I've enjoyed the most is being able to watch film without the phone ringing, being able to have kids come in and coach them up on some things and having time to do it, not meeting with a coach or not meeting with a parent or taking a phone call or things like that. And so it's been really, really, really fun.
Well, I had personal experience. I didn't have any paid assistants when I was coaching at Bowling Springs, and we worked year-round to be competitive, and I left as all-time winningest coach there. But it was a deal where I burned out is literally what happened on that, though, that it got the point where it just wasn't the players or anything, but the things off the court dealing with, it got to where it wasn't fun anymore. And I just literally had basically had burned out. And it's kind of funny that I didn't want to give it up, but God finally put circumstances in my life because he knew I was too hard-headed to get out of it, and I needed to. So circumstance led to finally deciding, that I need to give this up for family and for other reasons and stuff. And so this is how I've stayed involved, where I get to coach everybody's players and all.
I knew that I wanted to stay involved. I knew that I still had a lot to give to a program, and I'm thankful for Coach Fleming and Mr. Graves and Dr. Fowler for giving me this chance in Spartanburg School District 3. And I still have a lot to give to kids, and I'm still young, and I wanted to be able to experience what I just talked about, being able to coach again before I officially retire, and whenever that'll be, I don't know. Probably after we get the kids out of college.
Well, I did it for 37 years, and
right. This is 32 for me.
Really?
So, yeah.
So I know what you got on that, though, but it's just trying to stay busy in a different part of the game right here, though.
That's right.
All right, let's go through some fun questions right here.
Okay.
We're going to throw
All
a
right.
few at you.
I was told you would do this. So.
Uh-huh. All right, would you rather practice early in the morning or later in the afternoon?
That's a Coach Fleming question, isn't it? You know what? He told me that we'd practice in the afternoons because he didn't like getting his shoes wet. And about the first week, about 3 days, we had rain, and I got my shoes wet.
Uh-oh.
But I'm an early morning kind of person. I don't mind my shoes being wet. You know, when we have that one practice in August before school go back, I like to go in the morning. But, you know, I was okay with waiting till the afternoon, too. I got me a lunch and an afternoon nap before I had to come to practice, so it wasn't that bad.
I am not a morning person. I would have to I believe I could go all night long, but I can't get up in the morning. And now that I'm retired, I'd be embarrassed to say that it's probably – if I'm up by 10:30 or maybe 11 o'clock, I'm doing good every day.
I'm eating lunch at 11 o'clock, Coach.
all those days of having to be up at 5 because I had duty in the morning and had to be at school before 7 and all, I'm getting even now on that. All right, question right here. Would you rather have cool uniforms and a bad place to play, or would you rather have a state-of-the-art facility and ugly uniforms? See, now I was a guy that one of the things I enjoyed most about coaching was I designed every one of our uniforms, and I've got all these uniforms have made for me every year in Broome colors, though. So that was one thing that we never ordered anything out of the catalog.
Right.
I designed everything that we wore.
Can I pick? I don't care what the uniforms are or where we play.
Yeah, none of the above.
You know, I don't really, you know, even as a head coach, you know, I had a guy that decided what colors we were going to wear. I didn't care. I mean, you know, I would tell kids all the time, even when it started counting as touchdowns, I'd care. But, you know, these nice state-of-the-art facilities, they're nice. But, you know, I told our kids earlier, I said, you know, it's weight rooms as big as they are, wherever they are, 45-pound plates are 45-pound plates. So, you know, I guess I would say, to answer your question, probably bad uniforms and a good place to play. It'd be pretty cool.
There you go, then. All right, next one. It's one to think on right here. Would you rather be the mascot for a day or the manager for the day?
Manager, definitely. I ain't putting no mascot uniform on.
Although
I was the bulldog at Bowling Springs High School back in 1987. My sister joked me into it. So my daddy would want me to say that because it was a proud moment, I guess, for a basketball game. I think that was when Hank Rumpel was the head coach. So it was before you got there. But no, definitely manager. I could hold a water bottle all day long. I don't want to, you know, I think the Centurion has a sword or whatever he has over there. I just let him have that. I'll do the water bottles.
As crazy as I am, if I could wear a suit and nobody knew who was in there, I'd go wild doing that, though. I mean, I'd do enough crazy things without that, though. But I think I'd want to be the mascot because, tell you what, managers have to work hard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
if you got a good one, they do too.
That's exactly right.
All right. Let's see what else we've got here. Would you rather coach a veteran team with players? Let me see right here. Would you ever coach a veteran team, or would you rather coach a young team that's very enthusiastic?
A young team that's enthusiastic and is willing to learn is good. But if that veteran team is a good group that you've brought up and they know what you expect, obviously I think I would rather have the veteran team. So I think any coach would want a veteran team.
Okay, all right. This is an interesting one right here. Would you rather be a forgotten coach with a great record or a famous coach that never won a big game?
Famous coach that's never won a big game. I mean, it's not I don't think winning is what I'm – you know, I want to be remembered for what I've done with kids, not necessarily how many wins I have. It's never been about wins for me. I was fortunate enough to be a part of some really good programs early on at Silver Bluff and at Spartanburg, and was fortunate enough to be on the state championship staff. But I worked for a guy for 10 years in Doc Davis that those wins never really changed who he was. And I'm thankful for those 10 years of working for him, and I will never change who I am because of winning a high school football game.
Well, the most important thing to me was, I think, just by trying to put God first in everything that I did, seeing how many of my players went on and are ministers now and doing the right things like that was just seeing the players go on and be successful in life. That's, to me, that's more important than being an all-time winningest basketball coach at Bowling Springs High School and those things. And I keep up with a lot of them, even back to my first years of coaching on Facebook. That's one great thing of doing that, though. All right, we're going to get a couple of either-ors, and then we'll be done right here. All right, you coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
All right.
Diet Coke.
Coke Zero's me with that, too. All right, early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. Are you, let's see, would you spring or fall?
Spring on the golf course, fall on the football field. So, I kind of like fall.
Fall's my favorite time of the year. All right. Are you a stay-at-home guy or one that likes to go out all the time?
Stay at home.
Okay. Heads or tails?
Tails. Never fails.
It never fails. It doesn't. I mean, I think we've won both tosses this year. Now, Chesney called it the other day, but it's been tails both games.
Has it?
It has. Okay. It has. And I took a probability and statistics class that said it comes up tails more times than heads. That's always told my captains to do that, though. Banana split or grandma's apple pie?
Grandma's apple pie.
Okay. Mustard or ketchup?
Ketchup.
Comedy or mystery?
Comedy.
Smile or you game face?
I'm smile. I don't, there's not a really, I guess them offensive linemen would say I probably put a game face on every now and then, but I smile more than anything.
Fried eggs or scrambled eggs?
Scrambled.
Dress up guy or dress down guy?
Oh, dress down.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, definitely.
Okay. Would you rather, let's see, would you rather win the lottery or win the state championship?
That's a tough one. Well, I'm part of a state championship, so let's just say lottery since I'm older in my life. So.
Okay. All righty.
I think that's what my wife would want me to say.
Okay. Let me see right here. Would you rather call somebody or text them?
Text.
Okay. Shower in the morning or shower at night?
Morning.
Okay. Ferris wheel or roller coaster?
Roller coaster.
Denim or leather?
Denim.
I don't have a whole lot of leather, I don't think.
I don't either.
Bright colors or neutral tones?
Neutral tones.
Okay. Let's see what else I got on here. And last but not least, our last question is, would you rather be asking the questions or answering the questions?
Answering them.
Okay. All righty. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Well, Coach Farmer, we have enjoyed having you with us here, and we've enjoyed having you at Broome High School, and I can see already the impact you've had on the players so far this year. Good luck this season, and look forward to seeing you on Friday night.
Coach, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.